Lawrence, Watson, Goff, Mike White, or Tannehill. Let's talk through a couple of these. I'll pull up my quarterback rankings and talk through a few of them. Trevor Lawrence, you are probably not starting this week. The Dallas Cowboys give up the third fewest fantasy points to the quarterback position, and they have the toughest DVOA, passing DVOA, so they are extremely tough against the pass. Deshaun Watson gets Baltimore this week. Baltimore's defense is also very difficult. Jared Goff gets the Jets, and when we talked about this being a higher over-under, but also the Jets are really, really tough secondary. Sauce Gardner is going to probably shut down the DJ Chark routes. Mike White is interesting if he gets full clearance and is full go to play, but I'm monitoring that situation. Instead, I think that it's Ryan Tannehill who's a sleeper. The Tennessee LA Chargers game is one of the highest over-unders on the week, and Tannehill is super matchup dependent. If we look at the games where he poo-pooed out, okay, Ryan Tannehill did terrible against Buffalo. He did bad against Indy. He did poorly against Washington. He did poorly against Indy again. He played poorly against Cincinnati, and he played poorly against Philadelphia. All of those teams, except maybe Washington, have a really, really tough secondary, really difficult secondary. If you like my content, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel. Whereas Ryan Tannehill finishes the quarterback 11 against the Giants. They've got they're a pretty decent matchup in the secondary. The Las Vegas Raiders give up a ton of fantasy points to quarterbacks. He finishes the quarterback 8 that week. Denver, who's actually usually pretty stingy, he finished as the quarterback 9, so he played well. Quarterback 11 against Green Bay, and then the quarterback 12 against Jacksonville. Now, the Chargers give up a lot of fantasy points, and with this being a potential shootout game, you could see Tannehill leaning on his wide receivers on Okonkwo and Treylon Burks if Burks is back. This is one of those games where you don't want to underrate. And right now, Tannehill is the consensus quarterback 20. And that's way too low. When you've got some really, really tough, back end quarterback 1, high end quarterback 2 matchups. I mentioned Trevor Lawrence, I mentioned Jared Goff, but also Geno Smith has a really tough matchup against the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday. So Tannehill is one of those quarterbacks that I would be considering starting over Geno Smith's, Jared Goff's, Trevor Lawrence's of the world, given the matchup, given the potential upside. And I think I would do that if we find out Treylon Burks is good to go this week. So I'm leaning Ryan Tannehill here.